I'm sure you heard the big news this week. George St. Pierre has re-signed with the UFC. Now, you have a different relationship with George because you trained with him. I remember, I think one of the first times we ever talked before you even got in the UFC was when you traveled to Canada to help him get ready for Carlos Condit. You were one of his sparring partners, and I know him, you know Faraz, you know the team up there, but kind of a two-part question. One, are you happy that GSP's back? And two, the obvious question is, you beat Tyron Woodley at UFC 209. What do you think? Would you fight George St. Pierre?
You know what? I am kind of excited that he's back out there. I know he's always been training. He's always evolving. Everybody thinks that George St. Pierre in the past 3 or 4 years, maybe not it's not training at all. But this guy, he's a martial artist, a lifelong martial artist. He's always training and evolving. You know what? He's one of the reasons why. I would hate it. I would hate the day where I would have to step out there as a guy who inspired me to switch from kickboxing to mixed martial arts. He was my inspiration, and he's a good friend of mine, and that would be a hard one, man. To be honest with you, just emotionally, because he's a good bud. And but you know what? You never know. You never know what the UFC is going to bring. And of course, I know we're both businessmen and professionals, so kind of like with Rory, I got a little bit better relationship with George than I did with Rory. So I don't know, man. We'll just have to see. I would not want to, just because the relationship we have, but it is business.
Yeah. It's different for you because, we're tiring some of the other fighters, Bisping and whoever, they see George St. Pierre as a way to add a few extra zeros to their bank account. And I get it. I mean, I'm not stupid. I understand George's a superstar. His first fight back is going to be massive business. So I get it. But you're different. I mean, even if it was that money fight, even if it was that big, headlining pay-per-view, you would still have to think about it, it sounds like. It sounds like you wouldn't just immediately sign on the dotted line and say, let's do it. Like, it sounds like it would have to go a little deeper than that, than you just getting a big paycheck.
Yeah, man. For me, it is about finding the best people in the world and proving to the world that I am the best fighter. And not just to the world, but to myself. I've been doing this since I was 3 years old, and this is who I am. This is my life, and I want to be the best. And I do it for the honor and the glory. And it's not about that big paycheck. Everybody asks me, "Well, would you fight Conor McGregor?" Of course, I would fight Conor McGregor, but it's not because of the money. It's because he's such a huge martial artist, and everybody considers himself the best if you fight Conor McGregor, if you beat Conor McGregor, So I look at it as that, being just who you are and being the best. That's it. Honor and the glory, baby.
Well, I know it'd be tough because, like I said, I know you and George are friends. But like I said, listen, he's the greatest welterweight of all time. I'm quite sure you would probably say the same thing about him.
Definitely.
What better way to cement your own legacy than to fight and possibly defeat George St. Pierre? I mean, listen, the guy's a legend, but at the same time, you want to be a legend, right? You want to be the best welterweight of all time.
You got that right, my friend. You got that right. So, yeah, man, I mean, he is the best of all time. Best welterweights of all time. And glad he's back out there. I'm glad he can make things work with the UFC. Question is, hopefully he still has it. I mean, you can train all you want, but it is a little different when you can step out there competing. But he's a very intelligent guy, got good people around him, so we'll see, man. I know there's talk about him fighting Bisping, and we'll just have to see where things go.
Yeah. When you fight someone the first time and you have a close fight, there's two ways you can go, in my opinion. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You can either, fix the little mistakes that you made and then, kind of improve upon those and get ready in the normal way. Or some people may overanalyze it. They're like, man, I got taken down a couple of times. I really need to drill wrestling. And then they kind of miss other areas of, the game or of the preparation. How was that for you? Because it was such a close fight with Tyron. It was a battle for 5 rounds. So you felt everything. You felt his power. You felt his wrestling. You saw what his cardio was like, all those different things. Like, is there a sense of that where you have to prepare yourself, but you can't get too over-analytical? You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. If I go in there and think about it too much, about everything that happened in that last fight, I'd be overwhelmed with things. You got to keep it simple. Keeping the same game plan. I know he's a great wrestler. I knew that going into the first time. He took me down once in the first round, and it was my fault. I threw a lazy kick. He ended up catching it. It's not like he shot in with a sick double leg takedown or single leg and end up taking me down. So that was on me, not going out there and throwing lazy kicks. And we know that. And I think he's going to be a little bit more aggressive coming into this first round. But as the fight goes on, he's going to go back to his old self. And he may try and wrestle me. But you know what? I got great wrestlers here in camp, and we're ready for wherever the fight goes.
Yeah. When you have a couple of bad moments in a fight, I think that's really the mark of a great fighter. That was always the knock on someone like Ronda Rousey, who I respect the hell out of, but that was always a little bit of a knock. How would she react to adversity? How would she react to finally getting pushed in a fight, to, someone kind of socking her in the face? Would she be able to take it? Unfortunately, it didn't work out too well for her, but you went through that adversity, especially in the Woodley fight. You had that big punch in late in the round. You got stuck in that guillotine. You had that first round with the ground and pound. You went through all that and still battled through and got a draw. Does that kind of give you confidence that, you know what, I took his best shot and now I'm going to finally give him my best shot?
Oh, man, yes, definitely. I felt everything that he's got. He was at his best. I was definitely not 100%, and I know that. And that's what gives me confidence going into this next fight. I've taken his best shot. It was like one threat right after the next in that fourth round, and I took every bit of it, even helped him off the canvas in that fourth round. So that gives me the confidence going into this next one, knowing that. And knowing I'm going to be 100% stepping out there this time. Just letting it all out. I know this is the title fight. Probably this is it. And I'm feeling 100%. Just got to go out there and do my thing.
Yeah. You were on such an impressive winning streak prior to the first fight with Tyron. Now, that was the fight of the night, ended up, being a draw, a very, very close fight. But in the previous performances before Tyron, you had been very, very dominant. Now, I don't want to, make you sound like you're cocky or anything going into the rematch. I know you're not that kind of guy, but do you feel that kind of confidence that, now that you went through maybe not your best night, but you still got a draw, do you feel like any part of you feels like you can go out there and really dominate this fight to where we won't be having those questions when it's over, to where we won't be saying, well, maybe he won 2 rounds, maybe he won 3. You feel like you want to go out there and kind of do what you did, maybe even like Rory McDonald, where it was a very dominant 5-round performance, if it goes 5 rounds.
Exactly. That's what I want to go out there and prove, not just to myself, but the fans and the UFC, that I deserve to be that welterweight champion. And going out there and just letting it all out, like you said. You know what? But there was adversity, and there's no quick ending. No matter what, no matter who I step out there with, I'm going to give 100%, and it's going to be a hell of a night for them.
Yeah. As I said, the first fight was a battle, but kind of give me a sense, without giving away too much game plan, Steve, what is the difference this time around? What makes you champion after that fight is over at UFC 208? What makes you champion at UFC 209?
You know what? The hard work that I put into this camp, knowing that I went out there and took his best shot, and I know it wasn't 100%, man, the whole atmosphere, the whole vibe of this next time we fight, it's just something different about it. We're all pumped. My camp is pumped. We're positive. We're staying positive. And you know what? Since I went out there and fought him once, I felt his power. I felt everything he's got. Now I can just go out there and do my thing. I can just go out there and have fun. I've already felt it. I've already been out there. I've already experienced him. And I don't think he's going to bring too many changes to the game. You know what? And I'm ready for wherever the fight goes. And all I can do is go out there and have some fun. And that's how I look at it. Like, you see my fights with Jake Ellenberger, Johnny Hendricks, and Rory McDonald. I went out there and just had fun. And in my last fight with Tyron, for some reason, I just didn't feel that vibe. I didn't feel that positive, positive feeling. This fight, man, I'm all smiles and just ready to go out there and have some fun, man. That's it.
when I know Tyron has made a big point about, he felt he won the first fight. Now listen, I get it. That's what you're supposed to say. You're supposed to feel you felt you won the first fight. So, to feel like he did give you kind of, the best of what he had in a couple of those rounds with the ground and pound and with the big punch and with the guillotine, and he still couldn't put you out and he still ended up in a draw. Psychologically, and I know you can't get in his head, but do you feel like you may see a little bit of that come out in the second fight, where either he feels like he has to really go out there aggressively, trying to get the finish to get you out of there, or maybe it affects his confidence a little bit, because when he hits you with his best shot and his best submission and he still can't put you away, and then he's got to do it all over again. I've seen it before where guys are just like, man, like, what do I have to do? And there are different fighters psychologically in the rematch. Like, will you look for those kind of things when you step in the cage with him?
Oh, definitely. You know what? You can kind of pick those things out before the fight even happens. We'll probably be doing interviews together. I'll see him around, see him, warming up or walk around the hotel, and you can get those kind of vibes from people. He's even said it, after this, he's going to go out there and try to end my career. I'm like, I'm already in his head. I'm already out there. I'm already in his head. Which means, some fighters, of course, I know he's a champion for a reason, but sometimes when you go out there and think that, you feel like you have to go out there, you have to look for that knockout, and then you start doing things you normally wouldn't do to try to make that happen. And if I feel that out there, I'm definitely going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, you did a little bit of media with him when the fight first started. You did some interviews and everything. How was that? I know that things got a little awkward. They had that conversation on ESPN. The thing about racism came up. I know it gets a little awkward when you talk about those kind of tough subjects. And listen, I applaud him for bringing up tough subjects that maybe most people wouldn't want to talk about. But how was that spending time with Tyron when you guys first got the fight put together?
You know what? It was all good, man. Going out there and doing interviews with him for that weekend. It was good. Closer to the end of the day, we started to have a little fun, especially on Fox. I don't know if you saw that or not. Me and Tyron were actually on the same team.
You high-fived him.
Battled down. Say that again?
I said you high-fived him. You gave him a high-five and everything.
Yeah, man, I know. I would never thought that we'd go out there and high-five. I don't think he did either. But we had some fun, And at the beginning, I guess there was a little bit of hostility, and so I guess there was kind of that feel of, hey, man, you know what? I need to get in this guy's head. But I think after a while and just hanging around me and knowing that that's not going to happen, it was just relaxing, man. We had a good time. But you know what? We both know we got a job going to, have to fight each other, have to duke it out March 4th. So, if we know it's business, we're going to go out there and have some fun. Much respect to him, and when a major winner take the honor and the glory, and